Okay, hello Rama, how are you?
Oh, I am very well. Thank you. Thank you for having me on your show.
Well, thank you for coming on. Nice to have you with us. So, we're going to be talking about AI today, which is a very interesting topic. And you've written a book
Yes.
called Can We Trust AI? Is this book sort of a layman's guide to AI?
I won't call it as a layman's guide. I would call it as a readable version of AI for people who know something about it and people who want to learn about it and so on. Yes.
Well, just for people who know nothing about it, AI stands for artificial intelligence. And it's kind of all around us, whether we know it or are aware of it or not, right?
That is right. I mean, when you order a book on Amazon, you get some recommendations as to what other books you can buy. Or when you watch a movie on Netflix, all the recommendations about related movies that you may be interested in. And in fact, if you see a certain kind of movies, and then the numbers go up, and they will show more and more of similarly themed movies. And when you talk to Siri or Alexa, sure, AI is present. And if you have a car that has some of these new safety features, telling you whether there are cars in adjacent lanes or whether you are going to hit the car ahead of you, etc., etc., AI is there. So these are standard applications of AI these days, and so yes, it's here. It's here, and it will be here from now on forever.
I think what you were referring to is called pattern recognition.
That is true, but pattern recognition is a subfield of AI. In fact, these two things grew up together from the 60s, and pattern recognition is still there. It's a classical technique. People these days call it more as machine learning. And yeah, some of the tools used in AI originally came from pattern recognition. Yeah, these two kind of grew up like siblings for a while in the 70s.
Well, you had talked about going on Amazon and buying a book, and then all of a sudden you get all of these other suggestions. I get that all the time when I look at travel. When I look at if I need an airplane from Las Vegas to Boston or something like that, and then I'll get five or six ads right in a row afterwards with all these various places. Is that the same thing? Is that
Well, it can be seen as an application of artificial intelligence. The definition Mr. Coleman of AI is kind of broadened now. In the good old days, it was a very specific discipline in computer science. Now, pretty much anything you do with data and trying to make some informed decisions of data can be called machine learning, AI, and so on. So the example that you provided would be called as a very simple form of artificial intelligence.
does this go back all the way to Alan Turing?
Oh, of course, of course. I was just watching that movie again when I flew from Washington to California just last week, and the Imitation Game. I mean, Alan Turing talks about what does it mean to build intelligent machines and so forth. And in fact, there is one place in the movie where the actor who plays as Alan Turing asked the question, just because machines think differently from humans, it doesn't mean they're not thinking. I mean, that's a very interesting statement. And towards the end of the seminal paper that Alan Turing wrote, he says maybe machines can learn like how children learn. So yes, you can call Alan Turing as the father of computing, father of artificial intelligence, and so on.
How afraid of AI should we be? I mean, we've all seen The Terminator and movies
Yes,
like that. Is there
yes.
a risk that the machines will take over the humans?
Yeah, I mean, I've asked this question many times. I like to say, if Hollywood makes movies themed after, some very nice characters and so on, yeah, it does play for a while. But movies like Terminator and iRobot and RoboCop, etc., create more interesting, situations, and audience wants to see that. So no, no, I don't think we should be afraid of AI, but we should be cautious about AI. AI, like all technologies, has its issues. It may not always work the way we want it to work. because in the good old days, domain was driving it. Now data is driving it, and depending on who gives the data to train the system and how it learns and so on, there may be some downsides to it. um, so we have to be cautious. We have to monitor it, and if there are issues, we fix it. Like just like we are not driving Model T anymore, right? So Model T, didn't have all the jazzy things we have these days. Things get better. So with technology, the initial reaction may be somewhat mixed, but as days go by, the technology gets better, and we benefit more. At the same time, since AI is using data, and the data could come from anywhere and everywhere, we got to be cautious that it's not, intruding into our privacy, and it's not doing anything unethical and things like that. Those are valid concerns, and all technologists are aware of those, and we are trying to get the algorithms to do better.
It's funny you mentioned the Model T. I just watched a film. There was a scene where it was right around the time when automobiles were coming of age, and it was snowing, and the automobile got stuck in the snow, and the people went by in a horse carriage laughing at him, saying, "Yeah, your technology's wonderful. Horses don't get stuck in the snow."
That is true. In fact, something similar to that happened a year ago or so in Virginia. There was a massive car pileup, and the electric cars lost their batteries. They lost the charge, and all the gasoline ones, once the things were cleared, were going. Somebody had to come and tow the cars with the batteries. Yes, there are some strange situations like that, but eventually that will get fixed. You can't make horses run any faster, but you can make a Model T go faster, and you can put other devices and instruments on Model T, and that's where we are with Tesla and other modern cars. Horse is still the horse, and it can only go certain kilometers per hour and so on. So true, temporarily, and sometimes these new technologies may have hiccups, but we can fix them.
What do you think of the self-driving cars?
Oh yeah, I think there are various grades there. Some people want fully automated car. I'm not into fully automated car. I like to have cars with a lot of safety features, and self-driving is one aspect of that. But I would like to have control. What I say is that this fully automated self-driving car is a great goal, but to get there, we have to do lots of things like putting alerts about cars on adjacent lanes, and telling you when you may hit the car in front of you, or maybe adjust the cruise accordingly and things like that. Those are good safety features that will decrease the number of accidents, that will decrease the number of deaths on our highways. So I think they are all good. But sometimes, asking for the real 100% perfect automated car, I think it may be useful in some applications, but for regular folks, I think getting all these safety features, a little bit of self-driving help, because cruise control, there are automatic cruise control things. They automatically sense, if you're going to hit the car in front of you, and it slows down and so on. So I see this as various levels of automation. So that's what I think. I think it's useful to have these features because they have good outcomes in terms of safe driving.
Where do you think AI is going to go? What's the next big leap, do you think, for us?
Yeah, I think AI is going to help a lot in medicine, because we are just at the beginning of that. We have a 5-year grant at Johns Hopkins University. I'm collaborating with two world-renowned geriatric physicians, Dr. Jeremy Walst and Dr. Peter Abadir, and a whole bunch of us. We are looking at how AI and related technologies could be useful for healthy aging. Folks would like to spend more time in their homes as much as possible instead of going to nursing home, and so we can detect, monitor dementia, Alzheimer's situation, and see if there's a tendency to fall and hurt hips or head and things like that. In general, AI can be the side monitoring and reminding people about the medications they should take and what they should be doing, exercising and getting out for even Apple. watch tells you if you have been sitting on a couch for a while to kind of, hey, get up and walk around or something. So these are all good things. But more sophisticated applications of AI in medicine are also coming up. Predicting and modeling immunotherapy for cancer, as well as things related to genomics and protein folding and so on. So I think AI will be able to look at lots of data and try to figure something out. And that's where I think it will have some advantages. We can remember some amount of data, but we don't remember lots of data. And we also can't see high dimensional things that easily. And so those are places I think AI would help. In chapter 5 of the book, we also talk about its potential applications in managing disaster relief, addressing climate related climate change related issues and so on. So I think wherever there is data, potentially AI could play a role. What I see is happening now, we have swung too much towards data and forgotten the domain. I think we'll bring the domain back together. So domain plus data will be very, very useful thing to do, will make the AI very robust. And more interestingly, currently the way AI works is that we need to give it labels. We need to say this is Toyota, this is Camry, etc., etc. We are all developing methods known as self-supervised methods, where AI is trying to learn without being given those labels. And I think in a few years, that will be remarkable progress, because we'll be able to deal with, terabytes of data, petabytes of data, without having to look for labels, because labeling is costly.
Well, I think on that, we're going to have to wind this down. Thank you so much for coming on this show. Again, the book is called Can We Trust AI? And my guest is Dr. Rama Chellappa. Is the book out now?
Oh yeah, it was published officially on November 15th. It's right there in the back of my book case, if you can see it. You can get it in Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and the Johns Hopkins University Press.
Okay, great. Do you have a website you want to give out?
Oh, sure. It's called AIM, AIEM, AI for Engineering and Medicine at jhu.edu. The website has, details about our publications and our group and things like that. Yes.
You said AIEM
Yeah.
dot
Yeah.
edu. Okay.
.jhu.edu.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Well, thank you again for coming on the show. This was a nice conversation, and best of luck with your work and with your book.
Thank you, sir, and thanks for having me on our show.